All right, guys, welcome to this show. Hope you guys enjoyed the wild card weekend. It was a wild one, man. A lot of great things in that wild card weekend, I'm telling you, including Detroit winning, Buffalo winning, and some big teams like Dallas losing. It was pretty remarkable. Great weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, I'm going to keep up with the content with you guys daily. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up. I got a good one here for you today. We are talking about 3 running backs I love for fantasy football 2024. Can you believe 2024 is here? It's phenomenal how fast time really flies. Literally, it does. And we are really going to just not hold back on this channel. We're going to go year round. So if you're into content that really is going to actually help you win, and it's entertaining, and it's fun, and it's practical, and it's outside the box, and it's not cookie cutter, smash thumbs up. Lion mentality. If you got that lion mentality, drop the word lion below. I want to know how many people actually have the lion mentality. So that's one thing that I'm going to be really pushing this series, and make sure you guys are in the right frame of mind, because if you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not going to win fantasy. You're not going to dominate. You're going to be following the herd. So drop the word lion below in the comments. Let me know who the Lions are. I appreciate it. I'm going to talk about 3 running backs I absolutely love for this upcoming season. All right? You're ready to dive into this. Smash that thumbs up. So when it comes to running backs, listen, it was an absolute disaster. There's no denying it was an absolute disaster this past year, aside from Christian McCaffrey. Byjan had a good year, finished around 9th, give or take in PPR. Bad coaching, okay? There's a lot of other running backs who just didn't do well. Nick Chubb didn't do well. Ramondre Stevenson. I told you, Stevenson is going to be in a committee. It's going to be a disaster there. Don't buy into the Stevenson hype. Sure enough, he ends up busting. There's a lot of other players that just did absolutely poorly at the running back position. But I'm not just here to knock the running back position, because I love the running back position, but I'm being honest here. The wide receiver position was no cakewalk either. Guys like Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, all these mainstream Conchiefs guys did not perform to the level they should have. And going back to running back here, guys, I warned you that would come down. There's certain players I can see that are due for a regression. Guys like Austin Eckler, who I told you was going to decline. Guys like Pollard, who I told you is not a true workhorse running back. There's so many things that we avoided, the potential pitfalls, but there's still, even guys that I thought would absolutely crush it, really didn't crush it, okay? So, including Byjan. I thought he would have been easily the number 1 running back in fantasy. He was not, okay? He was hindered. Mind you, he came alive a little bit later in the season, okay? So I want to talk about 3 running backs I love, and I'm just going to dive right to it. The first one is Breece Hall. I mean, the guy finished, 2nd, 3rd in PPR numbers amongst running backs on a terrible offense. So you got to imagine, no way but up for Breece Hall, who is the absolute beast, okay? There's no denying how talented this guy is. He was eased in slowly at the beginning of this past season. Slowly. And he's got that breakout potential. And he's young. And he's dynamic. He's had his injury. That's in the past. There's really, knock on wood, barring an injury, no way but up for Breece Hall. So I got to talk about him. I got to mention him. I like him. I love the talent. I love the youth. And when Dalvin Cook was acquired on the team last year, now he's no longer there. He's not going to be there. No way. When he was acquired to that team, I thought to myself, man, what are they thinking? I know they wanted to maybe use him at the beginning of the season as Breece Hall is coming off this injury. But it's like, what did they pay him? Like $8 or $9 million, something crazy like that? Why would you waste your money on a guy that's washed up in Dalvin Cook? And yet all the mainstream Chiefs were telling you, draft Dalvin Cook round 5. If you got 16 rounds, by the way, 16 rounds is going to be available very soon for pre-order. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Turn on that bell. You don't want to miss this, okay? And follow my story mode on Instagram. I'm going to be releasing all that stuff. Turn on the bell on Instagram and all my socials. So, Dalvin Cook warned you about that. And, even with Cook there, Breece was the guy who's the alpha easily, right? And I told you that would be the way it's going to be. So I love Breece Hall, love the talent, love the opportunity, love the ceiling, love everything about him. Like I said, got eased in slow and still finishes a top 5 back. I mean, I don't know what else, top 3 back. I don't know what else to tell you other than the guy is talented, explosive, young, dynamic, and there's no way but up for Breece the Beast Hall. Again, barring any type of injury, he is in a perfect situation where you're in a league where, the running back, the workhorse running back is going the way of the dinosaur. We hope we bring it back. And guys like Breece Hall are the guys that can make it happen, okay? Absolutely love him. Number 2, and I had some question marks with this guy, and based on the coaching. Because, again, at the time of this recording, there's talk. I don't know if the news is broke yet. Bill Belichick is supposed to be meeting with the Atlanta Falcons. So you're going to talk about, obviously, is Jan Robinson. Now, some people say, well, Joe, you're not pronouncing it right. I am. Bi as in bi-weekly, B-I, and Jan as in ran as in tan. Okay? Very easy. Anyone calling him Bijan is incorrect. Okay? Even his mom said it's not even Bijan. He changed it to Bijan. It's not even right. Anyway, Jan, every time he touched the ball, he looked like a highlight reel, especially at the beginning of the season. At the end of the season, he started turning it up, but they kept using Algier. He had over 150, 60 attempts, whatever Algier did. Algier was a 4th, 5th round pick. He's not good. Algier is not good. What part of Algier is not good doesn't anyone understand? Arthur Smith was an Achilles heel. He absolutely destroyed the value overall of Jan this year, assuming Bill Belichick isn't there, because I would think that Belichick's going to run by a committee. How he's going to function on a different offense in a different situation is weird. It's going to be different, I mean. So I don't know what to expect if Belichick ends up there. I'm hoping Belichick doesn't end up on the Falcons, because that could really hinder Jan's value, because we know Belichick likes to run the committee. So I am concerned from that aspect. From a talent aspect, from the new coach, whoever it is, minus Bill Belichick, seeing the fact that Jan was hindered in his rookie season. He really, really was. So knowing that, I would assume that they would use him more because of his hindrances past season. So for me, I'm all over it. Jan, workhorse guy. Algier is going to be used, but not much. He's a guy I absolutely love. Now you're saying, Joe, there's only top guys you're mentioning. Yes, I'm mentioning top guys because there's only the top guys. That's why you got to go robust RB early, because there's only like a handful of running backs that can be minimal committees, okay? And those are 2 of them. Now, the third guy, you guys know I just did a top 5 running back early. Got to talk about it, but I have my question marks, because the guy I'm talking about is Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, let me tell you, Montgomery's going to be a pest. Watch playoffs. Just watch the first week of playoffs. They're still using Montgomery. You would think that they would start using Jahmyr Gibbs a lot more. Now, Montgomery played with a little more pep in his step in the wild card weekend when they were playing. He looked explosive. Why? Because I came at him and I said he sucked. He DM'd me and he's like, bro, you're a funny guy. And he's like, it's not nice to bash me. And I said, hey, okay, cool, man. You know what? It's fantasy related. Not trying to bash you, not personal. I'm just a Gibbs fan. I like Gibbs. It is what it is, right? So anyway, long story short, sounds like he was a little upset about the fact that I was trash talking him and other people were and underestimating his ability. This guy is a good running back. He was hindered with Matt Nagy back when he was on the Bears, and that really hindered his performance. I was a big fan of Montgomery, but Tariq Cohen was there years ago, and it really hindered his fantasy impact. So he looked lackluster in those years, and he had his on and off share of injuries. But listen, I love Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think he's going to get work, but Montgomery's going to be there, barring any type of injury. If Montgomery does get hurt, that's the only way Jahmyr Gibbs thrives. If not, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be great. He's just not going to get the workload. If you look at this year, he had 200 plus attempts, Montgomery did, and Gibbs had 170, something like that, right? I don't have the exact numbers here, so forgive me if I'm wrong. I think it was 178, and it was 208 or something for Montgomery. But the fact of the matter is, Montgomery's going to be a pest. I still love Jahmyr Gibbs. I just don't know if I'm going to be paying a first-round pick for a guy who I know is going to be in the committee, who I know Montgomery is going to be a pest. If Jahmyr Gibbs was starting, if I saw him come out on the field as a starter, I'd be a little more inclined to want to spend that money. But Montgomery's still coming out on the starting drive. He's a starter. So that bothers me. So I just can't bring myself to draft a guy that could potentially be an RB2 or just get half his load cut off. That's something we're going to be observing a little more in the offseason. As we watch more of these NFL playoffs, we're going to see the usage. I'm going to break down Montgomery's and Jahmyr Gibbs' usage over the 1, 2, 3, or how many games they're going to play in the playoffs. They're definitely guaranteed 2 games. They played the 1 game. They're moving on. So I'm going to be really monitoring the situation, but I really, really don't feel warm and fuzzy with Montgomery there at this point. Now, if you're saying, well, Joe, why don't you love Christian McCaffrey? I did a video on this. Go back, turn on that bell. You don't want to miss this content on 5 reasons why I'm not drafting Christian McCaffrey. Go back and watch that. But as of right now, Breece Hall is kind of my favorite, my go-to guy who I absolutely love. Now, there's rookies that are going to come in that are going to get my attention depending on where they land. But first round, we're going to have to see, because we saw this year that first round running backs really got held back. Now, typically first round running backs never got held back. If you guys look at guys like, Saquon Barkley in the past or Zeke Elliott in the past, these guys are a direct plug and play no matter which running back was there. They were drafted early by their team and they got immediate work as the workhorse running backs. Like I said, I'm hoping this isn't true, but it looks like, things are going running back. The workhorse running back is going the way of the dinosaur, and that's not cool. So, anyway, those are 3 running backs I love. Brees, Jameer Gibbs in that order. As of right now, the Belichick factor could play a factor. Montgomery factor could play a factor. Again, Brees needs a good quarterback, maybe Aaron Rodgers, whoever it is. If Aaron Rodgers is there, I love him more. So, again, a lot of factors. We're well in the offseason now for fantasy. And a lot of things have to happen, including the NFL draft. I have to see what's going to happen with these rosters if things fizzle out. And that's when 16 rounds is in full force. You guys got to get that too. So, guys, if you want to join the chat, join patreon.com/FF Counselor for direct access to me. I've linked it below. Amazing community year round. We go year round here, so turn on that bell and drop a line if you got that lion mentality in the comments below. I appreciate you guys. Love you.